Imagine waking up one morning to a world utterly transformed. It is not a change in the physical landscape, but a change in our very perception of it. We are suddenly able to understand the languages of all living things. The rustling of leaves whispers secrets of the forest. The babbling brook sings of its journey from mountain springs. Even the smallest insect conveys its needs and desires. This newfound understanding would revolutionize our relationship with the natural world. For millennia, humans have placed themselves at the top of a perceived hierarchy of life. We have exploited other species and ecosystems for our benefit, often with devastating consequences. But what if this perceived dominance was shattered by the realization that we are part of a complex web of interconnected life? The ability to communicate with all life forms would dismantle the artificial barriers we have erected between ourselves and nature. We would recognize the intrinsic value of all living beings, from the smallest microorganism to the largest whale. This paradigm shift would have profound implications for our behavior, ethics, and even our understanding of consciousness itself. The world would be awakened to a symphony of voices that had always existed, but which we had been unable to hear until now. The initial impact of understanding all life would be overwhelming. Our senses, accustomed to filtering out the vast majority of information, would be bombarded by a constant stream of communication. The rustling of leaves in the wind, once a soothing backdrop, would become a torrent of voices, each vying for attention. The buzzing of insects, previously a minor annoyance, could transform into a cacophony of needs and desires. This sensory overload would pose significant challenges to human psychology. Mental health professionals would need to develop new strategies for managing anxiety and sensory processing disorders. The constant awareness of the needs and suffering of other beings could lead to compassion, fatigue, and emotional exhaustion. Beyond the sensory challenges, we would face profound ethical dilemmas. The meat industry, built on the exploitation of animals we could now understand and empathize with, would become untenable for many. The use of pesticides and herbicides, which we now know inflict pain and suffering on countless creatures, would be called into question. Even the simple act of walking through a field would require careful consideration to avoid harming the plants and insects that call it home. The ability to communicate with all living beings would trigger a period of immense societal and economic upheaval. Industries based on the exploitation of animals, such as agriculture, fishing, and pharmaceuticals, would face unprecedented scrutiny and pressure to reform. New ethical frameworks and legal systems would need to be developed to navigate this uncharted territory. The education system would undergo a radical transformation. Children would grow up learning the languages of animals and plants alongside human languages. Science and biology curricula would be rewritten to reflect our newfound understanding of the interconnectedness of all life. New fields of study would emerge, focusing on interspecies communication and cooperation. The economic impact would be equally profound. Entirely new industries would spring up to cater to the needs and desires of our non-human counterparts. Imagine architects designing homes in consultation with trees, or engineers collaborating with beavers to develop sustainable infrastructure. This shift would create countless new jobs and opportunities, but it would also lead to the displacement of workers in traditional industries. Despite the challenges, humanity would adapt to this new reality with remarkable resilience and ingenuity. Technological advancements would play a crucial role in this process. Noise-cancelling devices would allow us to filter out the constant stream of communication from other species, giving our brains much-needed respite. Real-time translation devices would enable seamless communication with any living being, bridging the gap between species. This technological mediation would facilitate a deeper understanding of other species and their unique perspectives. We might learn that trees communicate through vast underground networks of fungi, sharing resources and warning each other of danger. We might discover that whales sing complex songs that convey not just information but also emotions and stories passed down through generations. As our understanding of other species deepens, so too would our appreciation for their intelligence, sentience, and intrinsic value. This newfound empathy would pave the way for more just and compassionate interactions with the natural world. We would move away from a paradigm of exploitation and towards a model of coexistence and cooperation.